Tonight on Cougar News, a man who was caught on Snapchat driving with his foot, causing a two-car crash, is now being charged with driving under the influence.
A memorial service for a fallen Air Force pilot brought loved ones and the community together in honor of his memory.
And a student-run record label is set to release their first album this weekend. Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello everyone and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Georgia Rios.
And I'm Bobby Block. And here's the latest from the Cougar Newsroom. Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station deputies arrested a 20-year-old man who was filmed driving with his foot prior to a two-car crash that injured 5 people. Officials charged Victor Canis Moriera with driving under the influence with great bodily injury. The man's blood alcohol content was found to be at 0.05%. Prosecutors are pursuing these charges because of the multiple injuries that the driver caused and the zero-tolerance law that restricts drivers under the age of 21 from having any alcohol in their body while operating a vehicle.
Santa Clarita Council members on Tuesday agendized a discussion for Senate Bill 54 at City Hall. Santa Clarita residents joined in on this heated conversation while Bob Keller made his own statement on the best way to move forward. Reporter Elena Tovar has the full story.
Santa Clarita City Council members on Tuesday discussed Senate Bill 54, also known as the California Values Act. This bill restrains cooperation between California law enforcement and federal immigration authorities. It basically protects immigrants who live in California, while federal immigration authorities are on the lookout for illegal residency.
No governor or his little minions have the right to take people who are criminals and put them into a sanctuary setting where we cannot get to them.
It is absolutely unjust for a daughter to see her father taken from her at a dialysis appointment, who has lived in this country for decades and paid taxes and contributed for decades.
City Councilman Bob Keller had his own response to this heated discussion.
My fellow council members, to agendize a discussion regarding sanctuary state law, and more specifically to oppose the so-called California Values Act.
The city should deal with city issues and leave this up to the state.
The Orange County City of Los Alamitos voted on an anti-sanctuary ordinance on March 19th. This means they are exempt from the bill.
At filing an amicus brief, in support of Los Alamitos would be the right direction to move forward.
For the city of Santa Clarita, Keller plans to
Fair filing of a legal brief in support of the federal lawsuit against the state related to the CVA at an appropriate time.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Elena Tovar.
With Fire Station 104 relocating on Golden Valley, the concern of an emergency response may leave locals worried. Jaylene Aguilera gives us a look.
First responders, they are the first people we depend on in an emergency situation. With 16 fire stations scattered within Santa Clarita, Station 104, located on Golden Valley Road, will be relocating on Newhall Ranch Road and Golden Valley Road. With 104 temporarily staying at Station 150, it brings many local concerns about how early of a response it will take for Station 104 to arrive at the scene. Station 150 just being 2.7 miles away from the old location of Station 104.
Response times into 104's area are not going to be affected. We're still going to be able to make that window. There's 5 stations that surround Station 104's jurisdiction, and each one of those stations is going to pick up a small piece that is the closest to their jurisdiction.
First responders all each have their own jurisdictional area that is in a certain location. 104 being away from its own jurisdictional area, other engines will arrive at the scene closest to the 104 jurisdictional area, being trained to arrive at the scene in 5 minutes or less, having us worry-free with the jurisdictional area procedure. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Julian Aguilera.
Fire season seems to be year-round here in Santa Clarita, so it's important that you are prepared and stay safe in the upcoming months. Reporter Kayla Brown brings us more.
So far in 2018, there have been 715 reported fire incidents throughout California. And with fire season coming up, it's important to be prepared for the worst. The LA County Fire Department is preparing to fight the inevitable upcoming fires.
During fire season or prior to brush season, along with a lot of training that we do, we also have our FSAs, or Fire Suppression Aides, doing a lot of drills, and alongside with them, we do drills as well throughout the county.
There are suggested guidelines that LAFD has written to keep your house safe from the flames when the heat rises and the Santa Ana winds begin to pick up.
You want to make sure you do any brush clearance that was required by the fire department, typically up to 100 feet out. We'd like to have no higher than 18 inches of brush and well watered.
The LA County Fire Department also recommends you have an evacuation plan in case of a fire and include an emergency bag full of food, water, medications, a first aid kit, and something to keep yourself entertained like a card game.
We always encourage them, ready, set, go. Have your stuff ready to go in your car, and that includes any kind of medications, water, snacks, food, and don't forget the elderly, and also kids, or even if you have pets, be sure you have everything ready to go for all those categories as well.
The LA County Fire Department wants you to stay safe this fire season. For Cougar News, this is Kayla Brown.
Due to some mechanical issues, a COC lecture hall is closed. During a recent gun control town hall in Boykin 105, a man fell after his seat collapsed under him. Boykin 105 is one of the oldest buildings on campus and is in dire need of repair. The man is okay, but the classroom is now closed for renovation.
Last Saturday, you may have heard loud aircrafts above, but what were they for? Deani Ellis and John Nathaniel takes you through the memorial service for Major Stephen Del Bagno, the Thunderbird pilot who was tragically killed in an aircraft crash.
Last weekend, Saugus High School held a memorial for Stephen Del Bagno, the Air Force Thunderbird pilot who was tragically killed in an aircraft accident. Family and friends came together to celebrate the great times they had with Bagno.
He was a great guy. He instilled, he took all the things that his parents taught him, and what a testament to you guys.
Close friends spoke about the good times they shared and was able to even get a laugh out of the crowd.
And he looks around and he says, listen, we need to be good ambassadors. We need to get out of here right now. It's 2 a.m. and we started climbing Mount Fuji and we were very drunk.
But when his father spoke, the passion and love that he had for his son was evident.
These are his brothers that he reached the pinnacle. He got to be a Thunderbird with.
The memorial started at 4:44 p.m. and the crowd was filled with 4 balloons. Why was this number so significant?
Why do we talk about 4s? Just for the record, his birthday is in April. It's the month 4. You look at the day of the accident, it was the day 4. You look at the Thunderbirds, it was the slot pilot. He was number 4.
Bagno died doing something he loved, and for that, he will forever be saluted. For Cougar News, I'm John Nathaniel.
As festival season is among us, many are making their way to the desert. But with the large crowds attending, what are the precautions being taken to keep concert goers safe? Cougar News reporter Audrey Hickson gives us an inside look.
The annual Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival took place this past weekend. Popular headliners such as The Weeknd, Beyoncé, and Eminem attracted more than 200,000 guests in attendance for Weekend 1. With Weekend 2 approaching, crowds are projected to match those numbers. In light of the shooting at the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival in Las Vegas last year, Coachella is amping up their security with the assistance from drones for the first time in the festival's history. Following FAA rules, the drones are not flown over the crowds or cars, but around the perimeter of the festival. The use of drones will allow police to spot a threat much faster from an aerial view than they would on the ground. Drones are not the only security measure in place, but a heavy police presence as well.
I do feel safe after I've been here because when I was first coming, I was a little nervous about everything that's been going on in the world, but now that I've been here, I feel a lot safer.
Attendees must walk through metal detectors and scan their wristbands containing a chip to monitor entrances and exits, as well as their personal belongings and bags searched upon entrance.
Day 1 and day 2, security wasn't as tight as I definitely thought it was going to be, especially everything that's been going on. I thought that it was going to be a lot tighter. But today on day 3, they definitely were patting everybody down. They were thoroughly checking everybody's bags.
Horses and canine patrol units are used to thoroughly check cars in and around the campsites. For Cougar News, I'm Audrey Hickson.
Sad news this week as we mourn a national icon. Kayla Brown has the details.
It is tragic, Bobby. Barbara Bush, former First Lady to President George H.W. Bush, passed away yesterday at the age of 92. Barbara was always willing to express herself as pro-choice, despite her husband's opposing views. Barbara's position on hot-button issues is what caught the public's attention during her husband's time in the White House. Barbara used the weight of the family name to develop the Barbara Bush Foundation for Family Literacy, a nonprofit that helps the country become a more literate nation. Barbara was the oldest living First Lady following the death of her friend Nancy Reagan. The last body from a family of 4 that has been missing for the past 2 weeks was recovered Monday afternoon. The Thathopoli family was reported missing after they never arrived at a friend's house in the San Jose area. The body of the mother was found on Friday, 7 miles north of the initial crash site. This was followed by the discovery of her husband and daughter's bodies, still in their family car, submerged 4 to 6 feet beneath the water in the Eel River in Northern California. No foul play was suspected in their deaths. A Southwest plane made an emergency landing in Philadelphia yesterday afternoon.
By all reports, I think our crew performed magnificently. This was definitely a very serious event, and I'm obviously very grateful that there were no other injuries other than the one fatality.
One person is dead after a Southwest Airlines flight experienced severe mechanical issues. The Boeing 737 was heading from New York to Dallas when an engine failed. A woman was partially sucked out of the cabin after debris shattered a window. The woman later died. A few passengers live-streamed part of the emergency on social media. Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board are working to determine what exactly caused these failures. And that's The Scoop. I'm Kayla Brown. For more stories in and around the Santa Clarita area, you can check us out at cougarnews.com. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much. Furry assailants have been spotted on campus, and we may be to blame. As Adrian Marana tells us what the university is going to do to combat the epidemic.
Squirrels. They're small. They're cute. They're dangerous? In the recent weeks, College of the Canyons campus has seen an increase with students feeding the wildlife. Many, if not all, have seen the small critters on campus, and many may even enjoy watching them frolic and go about their day.
I saw maybe 3 today, and I think they're super friendly. They always come up to the people and they literally stand like one came up to me and stood maybe a foot away from me.
Which may lead people to wondering, what's the harm?
Well, seeing students doing what students do, taking pictures of them, and whether or not they were feeding them to entice them for those pictures, that I'm uncertain of.
So what threats could they possess to public safety?
Campus Safety came to us to get some flyers stamped, and she has told us that there's been 2 incidents of 2 students getting bit by a squirrel trying to feed them and playing around with them.
According to studies by the CDC, the likelihood of squirrels carrying rabies is slim. However, if bitten, you still would need to make an appointment for some vaccinations.
I think they had to call the health office or something like that, and they had to get certain shots for it.
However, squirrels are not the only problem. In this video taken last year, we can see a group of students feeding a group of raccoons. It all may seem like harmless fun, but can have major effects on the ecosystem.
If they keep getting closer, we might have more altercations between students and the squirrels, which would probably be more unfortunate for the squirrels, so hopefully we don't.
So when it comes to wildlife on campus, the best bet, don't interact. Adrian Morinaw, Cougar News.
Do you own a Tesla or know someone who does? Well, you're in luck, as Tesla recently opened up a new charging facility in Valencia. The new supercharging station is located in Bridgeport Marketplace on the corner of Newhall Ranch Road and McBean Parkway. According to SCV EDC officials, there are 24 charging stations in the Santa Clarita Valley, but this new location is the only supercharging station. Superchargers make sure batteries do not overcharge by slowing down the charging rate when the battery hits 80%. The charging station is for Teslas only and includes 24 superchargers and spaces for disabled and handicapped drivers.
Coming up next on Cougar News, pianos placed outside the art gallery on the Valencia campus are giving students an outlet for stress.
And a look at a local band's first gig up north. Stay tuned.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks donors to schedule an appointment to give now. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
They've been very caring. They care about every single student that's in the class.
Yeah, everyone seems to be like pretty friendly with each other. Like, no one's really afraid to ask each other for help.
Working with other people, not being ornery, actually, listening to what people say, collaborating with them to create a really good product.
It's great to use the same stuff the pros use, especially at a community college.
Hopefully we give them a pathway to have their creativity showcased.
I've gotten a great education.
I love the access to equipment.
I've made lifelong friendships.
I have great teachers.
This is Cougar News.
When you hear these tunes, you can't help but smile and want to sit down and play yourself. Reporter Michelle Lutz gives us an inside look on the creative idea that started in the Visual Performing Arts Department.
You don't really realize people are watching, so it's just like, go for it.
4 decorative pianos are now a stress reliever for students between classes.
We rolled the pianos out this morning, and honestly, within minutes, people started coming around.
A creative idea that started in COC's Visual Performing Arts Department has now come to life. The department teamed up with Patron of the Arts, an art support group on COC's campus.
They found students working with Rebecca Edwards, who's art faculty, and Mercedes McDonald, other art faculty, and they found art students to design and paint the pianos. And the idea is to put them in public spaces so that people can access art and music all over the campus.
Students with many different skill levels took turns to share their tunes.
I'm just winging it.
I've been playing since I was 9, so it's like one of those things where it just kind of calms you down and it makes you focus. And with all the stress at CUC, I saw them and I was like, oh my God, I gotta play. So.
It's quite nice. It's a beautiful day, and just, I mean, music is great.
The creativity will continue as the pianos will be placed
throughout the COC campus so that people can just relax and enjoy and play music and hear music as they go through their day.
These decorated pianos have brought up many hidden talents and students around campus. For Cougar News, I'm Michelle Lutz.
students showed their musical talents on the pianos. Other students had their art displayed in the 22nd annual Student Art Exhibition. The free exhibit opened yesterday to students and the public and will be open until May 24th. The art gallery is open Monday through Thursday until 4 in the evening and is located on the first floor of Mentry Hall. Students from all different visual art majors ranging from graphic design to digital photography have art displayed. There were over 100 entries submitted by students that were then judged by Larry Hurst, former director of COC's Art Gallery. Along with the gallery, the pianos will be outside Mentry Hall until May 24th and then spread out around campus for all students to continue to share their tunes. And next we have Jaylene with a little more of entertainment.
Thank you, Georgia. How amazingly cool are those pianos, right? COC is one of the only community colleges in the country to have a student-run record label. Hippified Records will have a release party for their first album this week. The album will be available at the event.
3 semesters of hard work from students and faculty have paid off. Monthly showcases at Vincenzo's have been building up to this event. The wait is finally over.
I think that this is just a first step. We're going to do another record next year, and we're going to do another record after that, and I see this as a really good business and educational model for the students here.
Hippified Records' debut album, Homegrown Volume 1, is here. Hippified Records invites COC students, faculty, and friends to Studio 130 this Saturday, April 21st for an album release party.
The album has a eclectic amount of music to it, anything from acoustic to pop to rock, also jazz and electronica.
7 COC musicians from the album will be performing from 7 to 9 p.m. This album release party will be part of music and COC history, so don't miss it. Signing off for Cougar News, I'm Nick Adante.
It can be difficult for bands in Santa Clarita to secure gigs and tour outside of our city. However, one band of Santa Clarita residents brought their sound to the Bay Area for a show at UC Berkeley. Mauricio LaPlante has more.
It was a loud night at UC Berkeley. A Santa Clarita band, Full Safari, played miles away from home.
Being in a different atmosphere, like performing, it puts you in a different mindset. So I feel more at ease, showing music to people who have never heard it before.
Making strangers' feet tap to the beat. It was the first time the band played outside of Los Angeles or Santa Clarita.
It was fun to not just play for our friends. It was fun to play for people that have never heard us before and go, oh, this band is cool, or whatever, this band is hot.
However, the band faced some letdowns.
There wasn't as many people as we would have liked, but in all reality, I was just glad to have an excuse to come out to Berkeley.
And although Full Safari's frontman sat with his head in hand,
maybe I think about it too much, but I would like a lot of people there. That'd be nice.
On the stage, it's with friends he stands.
I was happy to make these trips. This trip with some of my best friends. A lot of things went right, and I'm very happy to be here.
Reporting from Berkeley, this is Mauricio LaPlante, Cougar News.
There was a celebration on campus this week as a film co-written by COC faculty member Ron Mita was released on Netflix. Starring Ethan Hawke, Rutger Hauer, and Game of Thrones' Liam Cunningham, his film 24 Hours to Live is a gritty action piece with a sci-fi twist. It follows with an elite assassin who is brought back to life for 24 hours to seek revenge after a bloody betrayal. This is the 4th motion picture that Mita has written. He currently teaches filmmaking and screenwriting at COC. And that's it for entertainment. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jaylene. ASG held an event last week to celebrate the diverse backgrounds of all students. All are welcome here. That was the message ASG wanted to send to students with its Diversity Day, an event hosted last week on the Canyon Country campus to celebrate the unique experiences of students from different backgrounds. Participants reflected on how the struggles that divide us can also bring us closer together.
To recognize that we're all the same. It doesn't matter what the color of our skin is, or if we're male or female.
Like when it comes to diversity, it's this idea that you have different people with different ideas, and you mishmash them together, and you see some interesting things come up from them.
Hey Georgia, what's the weather going to be like this week?
Personally, I don't know, but let's ask Alana.
Thank you, guys. Hello, everybody. It's been a chilly past couple of days in Santa Clarita. It's going to stay in the 60s, 70s until we get to Saturday. It's going to get up in the mid-80s and stay there throughout the rest of the week. Over in Lancaster, it's going to be much of the same temperatures. On Sunday, we will reach a high of 87, and it's going to stay about in the mid-80s there, too. On Sunday through Tuesday, you can expect some wind, but for the most part, it's going to be a sunny week over there. If you're planning on heading to the beach, also a lot of sun. Don't forget your sunblock. It's going to stay about the 60s, 70s range, not going to go much over the mid-70s. And if you're planning a trip to the mountains for the snow, you might be in luck. On Thursday, we are expecting a little bit of snow in the morning, and throughout the rest of the week, it's all going to be around the 60s, 70s, same temperature, consistent. If you live in the Texas area or have relatives here, you may want to warn them as a storm is starting up around Friday, coming from the Gulf Coast, headed up to around Chicago. Here's a radar map of it. Over here in the red area, that's the most vulnerable area. So if you have relatives there, you may want to warn them to look out for lightning and maybe even some possible tornadoes. In the surrounding areas, the green is some heavy rain, and over here in the blue and purple is a mix of some ice and snow. So if you are traveling to the Midwest, definitely travel safe and bring proper attire. If you're staying local, you're in good hands. Sunshine throughout the rest of the week. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Alana. Coming up next on Cougar News, a heartwarming story of a 93-year-old woman's swim class.
And we take a look at COC and high school sports. Stay tuned.
In a home fire, can your family safely escape in 2 minutes?
I heard my oldest son holler for mommy, and all I could see was smoke. The boys, we never really worked with them, I guess, on telling them what to do if there's a fire. We lost our child. We lost everything.
Make sure you can safely escape a fire. Practice your 2-minute drill. Test your smoke alarms monthly. Make your plan today.
College of the Canyons creates possibilities.
It's a gateway to opportunities.
A place where students learn they can believe in themselves.
Behind every possibility at College of the Canyons are the people.
Together we focus on achieving success, one student at a time.
That focus is a reflection of what we value.
It defines who we are.
We are. We are.
We are College of the Canyons.
This is Cougar News.
Alice Sumner's sewing skills provided her many work opportunities to support her children. This led her to sewing for her community, which sparked her passion to help others.
Alice Sumner is 93 years old and is well recognized by her peers throughout the community. However,
it did not always start out that way.
When we got here, we don't know a soul, and all we have was $40.
Sumner was born in Hong Kong, but shortly fled to the Philippines in the United States. Due to World War II, Sumner spent most of her childhood adapting to new cultures and learning how to sew in order to support her family.
No help from the government, but we ate one hot dog a day for 2 weeks, but we all survived.
Sumner's sewing skill sets provided her many job opportunities to support her children. Her craft eventually led her to recognize the passion that she has to help others. Over 70 years later, her positive impact on the community continues to amaze everyone around her.
She has a wonderful attitude on her day-to-day living and wonderful advice that she gives people.
Every day Alice sews, crochets, and even makes altercations for her customers. From doilies, kitchen hand towels, to even dresses. Alice can basically do it all.
Oh, I think she's fantastic. She's absolutely phenomenal.
Sumner's connection with the community eventually led her to enroll into swimming classes at the YMCA. Her passion for the community would help transform a class of 30 complete strangers into a group of lifelong friends.
Oh my gosh, everyone in the morning knows Alice. Alice, like I said, she is very fun.
Sumner's joyful spirit helped her overcome breast cancer, gallstones, aneurysms, and diabetes. To this day, Sumner does not let any obstacle get in her way. As each year, Sumner and a group of friends travel around the world to different countries and cruises to celebrate life.
I'm 67 years old, and I can hardly keep up with her.
It's all in your head, really. You can do what you want to do if you want to do it.
Sumner continues to not let her age determine what she can do, but rather, she's inspired to live her life filled with faith, love, and joy.
I don't let anything stop me. I love to travel. I love life. And I love people.
For Cougar News, I'm Louis Tran.
Can you tell us a little bit more about COC Sports, Sam?
Sure, I got the scoop. COC baseball faced off against Glendale College in their second matchup this year. With only 6 games left at conference, the Cougars are hoping to finish the season strong. Glendale would get their bats going early, and after knocking in 2 runs in the second, Glendale never looked back. The Cougars, on the other hand, only finished with 4 hits on the day, and they failed to produce any runs despite having runners in scoring positions. The Cougars pitchers combined to strike out 5, but allowed 11 hits and 6 earned runs on the day. COC would fall to Glendale by a score of 9-0. The Cougars will look to bounce back tomorrow as they face Glendale for a 3rd time. Hart and West Ranch went head-to-head in a Foothill League battle. Both teams came into the game with a 4-1 league record, and with both teams tied in first, the stakes were high in this one. Ryan Curlone's blooper to center field would bring in a run for the Indians and extend their lead 4-2 over the Wildcats in the 5th inning. On the mound for the Indians, Bryce Collins struck out 9 and allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings. West Ranch pitcher Trent Bird would come into the game in the 5th inning to limit the damage for the Wildcats. Going into the final inning down 4-2, the Wildcats began their rally. The Indians would make an error attempting to get a runner out at second base. The Wildcats would capitalize on the error, bringing in a run off a bases-loaded single. Evan Gelati would end the game hitting a walk-off single to defeat the Indians by a score of 5-4. A duel in the pool, no one does it better than Heart of Valencia. In just 2 weeks shy of the Foothill League Finals, the 2 teams squared off with plenty to fight for.
Hart's girls squad is very close to capping off a superb run through league, but the defending champs not ready to concede any territory as they took the opening 200 medley relay. But it took only moments for the Hart boys to restore order as Dawson Waggy finished off the boys relay with the win. On to the girls 200 IM, an easy trip for Valencia's Isabel Damier as the Vikings went 1-2 in the event. On to the 100 fly for the girls, and a sensational finish as Hart's Taylor Toledo just gets to the wall ahead of Valencia's Emma Hyatt. The breaststrokers also big. Valencia's Josh Lee powers his way to a close win over Hart's freshman Kyle Brill. On to the relays, and it was a dominating performance for both the Hart's girls and boys. Both teams finished 1-2 to make it a clean sweep for both varsity squads. The rematch should be just as exciting.
Although the Cougars lost a tough one against Glendale College yesterday, they gave all Citrus College could ask for last week. With Jacob Lopez on the mound for the Cougars, all they needed was some runs. I have the highlights on the game. College of the Canyons baseball put on a hitting clinic against conference opponent Citrus College. Trace Eldridge would get the offense rocking, hitting a 2-run bomb in the first. Ivan Lomelli would add another 2 runs in the first with a deep double out to right field. The Cougars would finish the game with a total of 17 hits. On the mound for the Cougars, Jacob Lopez was lights out. He pitched 7 innings, striking out 14 and only allowing 3 hits.
You know, we're playing really good defense. We really improved, and just got to keep pitching, keep the ball down, and the runs will score. So we've been doing a good job every aspect of the game. So,
with the 10-0 victory over Citrus College, the Cougars improved their overall record to 21-11 and 10-3 in conference play. With Cougar News, I'm Sam Delgado.
And that wraps it up for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sam. Going to the library seems like a thing of the past nowadays, thanks to technology like computers and the internet. But several people still came together for a special occasion. Cougar News reporter Luis Villa shows us why so many Santa Clarita residents attended their local library last weekend.
Okay, let's look around, Louis. There's Pershing Square down there. Let's just keep on going down, Willie. Yeah, okay.
This past Saturday, the Valencia Public Library brought together a full house to attend an event showcasing 5-time Emmy Award-winning cameraman Luis Fuerte and his book, Louis, Take a Look at This.
It's amazing.
He is most known for his work on the show California's Gold, in which he and the late Huell Hauser traveled all over California, broadcasting to their audience the limitless wonders that the state has to offer.
But look around, Louis. Take a pan around there and look at this. This is wonderful.
However, author chairman for the Friends of the Santa Clarita Library, Jane Beebe, has noticed that due to modern technology, libraries aren't as popular as they used to be.
In the world of technology and books on tape and even less reading overall, that library engagement has decreased over the years.
But thanks to the efforts of people like Ms. Beebe, libraries are still able to engage with their communities and bring people together to attend events.
One of our key roles with the Friends of the Library is to really engage the community, trying to get people to come in, listen, think through different things, have conversations, basically.
In this day and age, it's hard to find reasons to come to the public library, thanks in part to devices such as these, which makes information so easily accessible. But there's more to the library than just having a place to read books or study. It's also home to great events that bring the community together. So I encourage all your viewers to please check out what's going on at your local library and come take part. For Cougar News, I'm Luis Villa.
That does it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm Bobby Block. Remember, you can catch us on the web at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Georgia Rios. You can also send us news tips and story ideas to our Twitter handle, COC_Cougar News. And follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Have a great night, everyone.